name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for joining. Okay, a lot has happened since, well, yesterday, last night, yesterday afternoon. Of course, America is under attack with an Islamic terror attack taking place in Colorado. Of course, the media don't want to call it that. You know, the media want to call it anything but that. On the morning show today, my lead story will be MSNBC's glee that they thought a white guy did something, and they, of course, were wrong. So we're going to cover that and go through that because, I mean, there's just an insane panic from the left. You know, they immediately go to blame the white guy. They go on air with it, and they look like fools. So that's what I'm going to lead with today. But this horrific attack in Colorado is just god-awful. I mean, an attack on seniors, people being burned. I mean, it's the worst of the worst right here in the United States. And, of course, by an illegal who overstayed his visa that was welcomed here by the Biden regime. So it's bad. No, it's bad. Welcome, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to my channel. So that's going to be my lead story. And, of course, the war between Russia and Ukraine has gone to full total war. You know, they've, for some time, they kind of been, in Ukraine and Russia have kind of been at a stalemate, where, you know, there wasn't a lot of gain. They, you know, things were pretty much the same, and boom. And it was reported last night, I've not seen this confirmed, but it was reported last night that this major drone attack on the nuclear bombers of Russia by Ukraine, that Ukraine did that without notifying the United States. What the hell? I mean, you know, and of course things are escalating on both sides there. So let me ask you, I mean, you know, obviously they don't want peace, Ukraine or Russia, to do what it is that they're doing. Do you think that Trump, the United States, should completely pull out of the peace talks and any assistance we're giving to Ukraine, that they're on their own now? I mean, this is, you know, this is just too much. We've got our own problems to worry about, right? And these major attacks that are taking place, they really show you that they don't want peace. So if they don't want peace, why should we be putzing around with them? I think we should be the heck out of there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are we going to get involved in this? I mean, the war can't be won because by either side. Okay. There's always, even if they came to an agreement, they're going to continue to have skirmishes till the end of time. It'll be like the Palestinians and the Israelis. But if Russia won, let's say, and they took Ukraine, it would be just like us in Iraq. It would be years of an insurgency. But they were saying this, you know, see, I'm curious about some things because, and this is something I'm going to talk about too on the show this morning. They're saying that this Ukraine drone attack was much more sophisticated than normal. And I haven't heard anyone talk about how many U.S. weapon systems were used on this. I mean, these were U.S. weapon systems. And these types of weapon systems are very sophisticated, and they're in the computers are in English, aren't they? Right? The computers are in English. So how are these Ukrainians operating? Do they have enough Ukrainians that are fluent enough in English to run these things? I don't think so. I think these things are being run by American deep state personnel or mercenaries that are probably really like CIA, like they used to do in Vietnam. This whole thing could have been conducted and run by Americans who may be working as mercenaries. We don't know. But I know they keep telling you, oh, all these drones are Ukrainian built. Bullcrap. I don't buy that. Do you guys buy that? These are very sophisticated computer systems, and they would need to have native English speakers to, or at least incredibly fluent English speakers to operate this equipment. I know that we translate things, for our NATO allies, but they still mainly operate in English. This is Ukraine, right? And they've lost so many in the war. The people that are in the service now in Ukraine in the army are not the first stringers. So I just wonder how many American citizens were involved in this attack on Russia. Now we got to get the hell out of there, and I would like to see Marco Rubio and President Trump name Ukraine is one of those countries that Americans are not allowed to travel to, that it's illegal. Like you can't go to, Cuba except for certain things. You know what I'm talking about? It should be a country that is forbidden for Americans to visit or be in, unless you have special authorization from the State Department and give people a window of a week or 2 weeks to get out. But after that, they're criminals. We got to get out of there. And what we need, we got to get these American mercenaries out of there too. This is just, got to wash our hands clean of it. Yep, I agree, Charmaine. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. So the first thing I'm going to lead with today is this god-awful terror attack in Colorado. And MSNBC getting very excited because they thought it was a white guy that did it, putting out fake news there on television. And I'm going to cover that, and then I'll get into what's going on in Ukraine. There's a lot of other stories too, and your calls as well. That's right. And there's a new Starbucks in my area that actually opens up at 5 a.m., which is really nice. So I went here yesterday, and their coffee was very good. So them opening up at 5 a.m., all the other ones open up at 5:30, and that doesn't give me a lot of wiggle room. So them opening up at 5 saves me a half an hour in the morning. So it helps me get better prepared in the mornings. So I'm starting going there this week, 5 a.m. So that's nice. They should be open 24 hours, but they're not. Yeah, welcome. So those are the two main stories. I mean, there's some other stories too, but those are the two big ones. They really are. I saw a video of this Michelle Obama podcast that she's doing. She is the first black first lady, right? Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are, I don't like either one of them, okay? I mean, I didn't vote for them, and they are what they are. They're monsters, but they're historical figures. He's the first black president, and she's the first African-American black first lady. They're historical figures. And this podcast of hers is showing what she's really like. And she's a stupid person, isn't she? And she's not likable. It's kind of like Hillary. People thought Hillary was so smart until she started talking off script. And I saw this video of her on the podcast dancing. I mean, she just looks ridiculous. And mostly what she does is it seems to be trashing her husband on that podcast, Barack. It's just, because of being the first black first lady, she could do whatever she wanted, and she chose this with her weirdo brother. She's really doing damage to herself in the long term. Well, Mr. G.A. Brown, if you don't like me, you can obviously swipe away, right? I know I'm waiting for Starbucks to open so I can get my morning espresso. And then I'm going to be on the air at 6 at the studio. So I don't know which is worse. Me live streaming from my car while I'm waiting for Starbucks to open, or you watching me live stream from my car. I don't know. Yeah, make sure you subscribe. Those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Good morning from the Florida Keys. You know, Michelle, if you listen to anything from her podcast, all she does is gripe. You know, she complains about her husband. She complained about having to buy the food that they ate at the White House, even though they're millionaires. It's just bizarre. Just bizarre. She's making a fool out of herself, Michelle Obama. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad she's doing it. I mean, you know, and it's very funny because they've been saying for years, oh, Michelle Obama may decide to run, and she's very popular. How popular is she really? When people see what she's really like, I'm pretty shocked. It's just like Chelsea Clinton is so, and Hillary are just like so trashy, aren't they? I mean, they're like white trash in the way they talk. And when they were in the White House, you didn't get to see them like that, especially Chelsea. And now you see what they're like, and they're just not likable, trashy people. Trump's brilliant. I mean, there's no... he is so smart and so brilliant and has such a great understanding of pretty much everything. Yeah, Barron Trump is president, that'd be nice. Very, very smart. I mean, think about what Trump did. Before he was famous, he borrowed $1 million from his father, which, by the way, he paid back. How many of you have borrowed money from your parents when you were young and paid them back? Nobody does that. So he borrowed $1 million from his father, which he did pay back, and he turned it into a $10 billion incredible business. I mean, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Can you do that? I mean, you know, I know, you know, this thing about wealth, I know personally, I know a lot of millionaires. But billionaires, not too many. He's horrible. Keep telling yourself that. Look, he stopped inflation. Egg prices are under $3 a dozen now. It's amazing. Why would we give the jet back? You want to give the Statue of Liberty back to France? Why would you get, you know, Qatar gave us this great gift of this jet to the United States government, to the people of the United States. Why would we give them back? That'd be insulting. No, we're not going to give back a gift. You're not going to give back the Resolute desk to England, are you? I don't know what Smith's is, but I would shop somewhere else. It seems their prices are too high, far above the national average. No, the tariffs are doing fine. There's zero inflation now. We're at zero inflation. The Democrats, the DNC, they really need to update their talking points, right? The trolls have like month-old talking points, 3-week-old talking points. Again, make sure you subscribe. Those of you who are new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. No doubt about that. And at 6 a.m. Eastern, I'll be live in the studio taking live calls. That's right, Phil. MAGA forever, MAGA for life. Yeah. You know, on Saturday night, I might show some of this at some point on YouTube. I'm not sure. But on Saturday night, you know, my daughter moved back to Florida from Los Angeles, thankfully. It's so nice. So Saturday night, I went out with my daughter and her friend, took them out for ice cream in Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. And I wore this hat And I had a lot of people came up to me, loved the hat, nice hat. It was pretty cool. But some liberals, and there was this one guy who he passed me, he's a real tough guy. Then after he got way past me, he started yelling at me about the Constitution and all. And he looked familiar to me, and I go, you know, who could he be? You know, he was a little rude, but cowardly. And then we were walking a little later, walked past him, and I remember he was one of the liberal jerks at the Tesla protest that I went to a couple months back that I made the YouTube video about that's on my channel here. He was one of the idiots who was yelling at me in front of Elon Musk's Tesla dealership in Fort Lauderdale. Freaking lunatic. I don't know if he remembered me, but I recognized him. I'm like, I know him from somewhere. Just seemed familiar. And then later I'm like, oh yeah, he was yelling at me at the Tesla dealership, calling me all kinds of names. You know, he wasn't so tough when he didn't have his gang around him of liberal lunatics. But, you know, I tell you, you know, the liberals, what they did to Tesla was just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Welcome. Happy MAGA Monday morning. It's 4:47 a.m. here on the East Coast and Florida. I call it Mar-a-Lago time since President Trump's house is up the street. We're on Mar-a-Lago time on the East Coast of the United States. Yeah, I'm waiting for Starbucks to open. I found that there's a Starbucks in my neighborhood that just started opening up at 5 a.m., which I am very excited about. It saves me a lot of time. The 5:30 a.m. is just a little tight for me to get ready to be on the air at 6. Kamala doesn't have a chance at what? Sobriety? Overcoming her addiction to alcohol? Probably not, Allison. That's for sure. That is for sure. She obviously has a problem with the alcohol. You know what I had? I had over the weekend. I've had one or two before, but not for a long time. I went to a birthday party with some friends on Saturday, and I had a non-alcoholic beer. I never had a non-alcoholic beer before. I liked it. It's pretty good. Gainesville, Florida. Welcome, Gainesville MAGA. I'm in Palm Beach, Florida. The home of President Trump, Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, see what I do? It's hot in Florida, you know, but I got my Trump shirt on. This is a good one. I like this shirt. And the reason I have my jacket on is because, you know, they're so liberal at Starbucks. I gotta take my hat off and hide my Trump shirt when I go in, or they'll give me decaf. So when I go to Starbucks, I'm like undercover MAGA, because the Starbucks I've been going to for years and years, that's closest to my house, that I was live streaming there on YouTube from the place, and then all of a sudden, I was getting headaches when I was drinking my coffee. I realized they were giving me decaf. Yeah, it's you know, so I got to go undercover MAGA when I get my coffee in the morning. That's how liberals are, you know. If you went to a restaurant where there were MAGA people working, and liberals come in with their blue hair and nose rings and all their crap, and their preferred pronouns, you'd still give them what they ordered, wouldn't you? No, you can't. No, you got to be undercover MAGA. That's right. That's right. I don't know what batch undercover is. But my lead story today at 6 on the morning show, I'm going to talk about, of course, what this god-awful Islamic terrorist attack in Colorado. And MSNBC was immediately went out and reported it was a white guy. These people are out of their minds. So we're going to go through that. And then the second story will be about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. I mean, there's just a major escalation in that war. which I'm very concerned about. Thankfully Trump's in office, right? I mean, could you imagine if Kamala Harris, Willie Brown's girlfriend, an alcoholic Kamala Harris was president right now? Oh my goodness. Trump will either get things under control with Russia and Ukraine, and if that's not possible, he'll get us out of there. That's what's got to be done. I mean, I don't see I don't see Zelensky and Putin wanting peace. These guys are out of their minds. Daddy's home, Allison. Absolutely. Daddy Trump. Correct. Remember what Tucker said? Daddy's before the daddy's coming home and daddy's pissed. That's right. That's right. And those of you that are new, when I do the morning show, I have 2 live streams going, and you can call me live on the air. Oh my goodness. Or Biden, right, with that presidential committee. Basically, Hunter Biden was the chief of staff. I mean, come on. Sherry, welcome. Good morning. Happy MAGA Monday. I'm so excited that this Starbucks started opening up at 5 a.m. It's really a life changer for me. It's for 2 reasons. It saves me a half an hour, but I can get the espresso in my body a little earlier, right? So I'll get that caffeine jolt earlier, a half hour earlier, which will help me on the show. Yeah, and I hope you guys, when I catch my podcast from last night, when I end this stream, when I get my coffee, go check out my podcast. It's the video before this. It's not a live stream, but it's a video where I covered quite a bit, and it's pretty good. It's got Joe Rogan and Bono in the thumbnail. Cheryl, I cut my caffeine back by 50%. This is regular coffee. I was drinking this Starbucks I get. It has 4 shots of espresso in it. I was drinking 2 of those every morning. So I cut my caffeine. I only am drinking 1 of those now, and then I'm drinking regular coffee, which is basically caffeine free. Yeah. So no, I've cut my caffeine back by 50%. And eventually I'll wean myself down again, but I'm not right. Yeah, 8 shots of espresso by 9 a.m. every day. Think about that. So now I'm only having 4. You know, a Trump University, if you have a Trump University degree, that's a very valuable collectible right now. If you have the actual Trump University degree, it's worth some money. Well, doing a morning show, it takes a lot of energy. You know, I had to get up in the middle of the night. So I have been up since about midnight. And it's 4:54 right now, right? So I've been up a long time. Yeah, a Trump University degree, if you have the actual certificate, that's worth some money. Yeah, you could sell that for a lot of money in the collectible market. Signed by the president and everything, absolutely. He could. You know, I showed on the podcast, if you guys go and watch the podcast, it's got Joe Rogan and Bono in the thumbnail. Not only did I buy this hat from President Trump, the Trump store, he's got a bunch of Trump 2028 merch. It was not a scam. Trump University was not a scam. Just, you know, this is the thing. It wasn't an actual university, right? Like I went to a university, you know, for a degree. But it was a real estate school where you learned how to buy and sell real estate. Just because, now if you go to like a regular university and you have a degree, is it that university's responsibility to make sure you're employed? As an example, I have a degree with a double major in history and education, right? And I don't work as a school teacher. So is my university criminal? Do they owe me my money back because I'm not working as a school teacher? And I'm not working as a historian, right? I'm a broadcaster. Or, a lot of people go to college and they don't work in the profession that they got their major in. So, like, for example, if you go to a lot of people go to college and major in stupid things, right? Like, I could get a job as a teacher, and if I was retired, I could get a job as a substitute teacher. I could get a job as a teacher right now. I've got I've got the certifications. I've got the degrees. But a lot of people get jobs or they get degrees in stupid things like women's studies or African American studies or gender studies or English lit and all this stuff. And most of those people are working at the mall, right? Right, exactly. So if you go to school and you major in gender studies or one of these useless degrees, it's like having a degree in basket weaving, and you're not employed and you're working at a retail store or you're driving for DoorDash, does that university owe you something? You go to a school, and in these instances, like Trump University or a college, it's not like public school where you got to go to the school in your neighborhood. When you go to school as an adult, you choose to go there. You pick them for whatever reason. You get whatever education you get from them, and it's up to you to make something of it. It's not up to them to make sure that you are successful in that field. I've never heard that standard applied except for Trump University. It's ridiculous, right? But that's how liberals are when it comes to Trump University. It's the Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, how many of you in this chat room have college degrees and you are working in a field unrelated to your degree? Right? Most people I know with college degrees are working in a field that has nothing to do with their degree, unless they're like have a medical degree or a law degree or something. I have a degree in history and education. You have an 8th grade education? Well, you're probably smarter. If you have an 8th grade education, you're better off than most grad students with their masters and PhDs. Yes, the College of Hard Knocks. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I graduated with honors, by the way, too. That's right. But I'm not working in that field. I'd love to get the money back. I still have the degree. I have the degree in a file in my filing cabinet at home in my office. It's not even on the wall. But most people don't work. But with Trump University, they hold oh, wow, Trump University. Please. Please. You get an education, it's up to you to do something with it. Even if you have a public school education and you're not making it in life, is it the high school's fault? Does the high school owe you because you're not making it as an adult? I've never heard such a standard. I wish I went to Trump University. Absolutely. Absolutely, I wish I did. Well, listen, guys, Starbucks is open. I'm going to get my espresso. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe, all right? I'll see you in an hour on the next stream. Taking your calls. Take care. Thanks for watching.